John Sopel at the White House for us. Let's speak to Rebecca LeGrand. She's a defense attorney who focuses specifically on federal government investigations. She's in our Washington bureau right now. Welcome. Thank you very much for your time. We've heard other evidence, of course, about this phone call. We didn't even hear this. It was behind closed doors. Why are we using words like devastating? Why is it such a problem for the president?
Well, because one after another career public servant, or in the case of Colonel Vendeman, a military veteran, has come before committees in the House and testified that they were disturbed in real time about what Donald Trump was doing, and a parallel foreign policy he seemed to be running that was focused, instead of on protecting U.S. security or the security of our allies, focused on digging up dirt on his opponents and focused on trying to relitigate the findings of every intelligence agency that's looked at it, that Russia interfered with the 2016 elections. And so that has been incredibly disturbing, and witness after witness has gone before Congress and said that's what they observed.
And he is a first-hand witness, of course, isn't it? It's not something he heard from someone else. And yet I've got a whole bunch of people on my timeline, some of them very pro-Trump, some of them just wanting to be fair, who say, look, international diplomacy, politics has always been tit for tat. There's always been quid pro quo. Why is this so different? Why are we making such a fuss?
So when tit for tat is interfere with my political rivals to improve my chances of winning an election, at least historically in this country, that has not been something we do. And that's what's so troubling, and why I think it's so important that these proceedings move quickly, as I think the House understands and the courts are showing they understand. Because what arguably, and what I think the facts are going to show was happening here, was an effort to put the president's thumb on the scales of an upcoming election. So allowing this to be left to the election, look, the election may, God willing, work, but if we want to have free and fair elections, we need to make sure that someone's not threatening to withhold $500 million in military aid unless the president of a foreign nation gets on TV and says negative things about their rival during an election. That's what appeared to be going on here, and the risk to the integrity of our democracy, if that happens, is clear.
Republicans also point out, of course, that the Democrats have been loath to hold a vote on this because they don't want to expose splits in their own ranks. They have now voted to go public. It's always been the case, hasn't it, that in an impeachment inquiry, the House does the inquiry. That can be in private. The Senate does the actual public trial. What difference does it make that the Democrats are going to go public with this?
I think this is just proceeding in the fashion that you would expect as the facts come out and it becomes clear that this will proceed further, and that eventually a vote will take place in front of the full House to decide whether to impeach the president, which then goes to the Senate for trial. But I think this is the process that you would expect. It's starting out with private meetings and interviews, and it will become very soon, it appears, more public proceedings in the House that I think will be of great interest to the American people, who will actually get to hear this testimony, or parts of it at least, firsthand. So I think this is the process you would expect when the early stages show that there's a lot more that needs to be done.
Rebecca LeGrand, thank you very much.